don't know when you brought me here.
Why do you think?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
I just said I don't know.
And I told you to guess. Maybe you ran a red light.
I don't run red lights.
Maybe you stole something.
I don't steal. I've never stolen anything my entire life.
What do you do then, Ivan?
I get up, I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep. I've never been in trouble with the police.
You're in trouble now?
I feel like I am, yeah.
Why am I that?
I told you I don't. No, look.
Ivan, take a guess.
Officer, listen.
Yes!
Is it to do with that girl that they found?
Do you know something about the girl they found?
No.
Well, it's not about the girl they found then, is it?
The lawyer, then.
What lawyer?
You know, the case, 3.4 million, it was on the news.
Do you know something about the lawyer?
I know he worked in a firm up the road from mine. Think some of my friends know him, but I don't know anything relevant to the case.
You don't know anything about the lawyer?
That's right.
Well, it's not about the lawyer then, is it?
I just thought that maybe you thought I knew something about it.
But you don't know anything about the lawyer?
No.
We don't need to speak to you about the lawyer.
So, can I go home?
No.
Look, can I speak to my lawyer?
Not right now, no.
I have the right to speak to my lawyer.
We're just having a conversation, Ivan. I need a lawyer.
I want my lawyer.
Ivan, take a guess.
I know, because I heard a noise at my neighbour's house a few days ago.
Alexander Richardson or Bradley Cohen?
Cohen. I heard the noise, I asked him about it, he said it was nothing, so I didn't report it. And then Bradley's a good guy. I didn't want to waste police time.
You're wasting police time now?
I think I might be.
Tell me about the noise.
It sounded like screaming, but then it just stopped.
It sounded like screaming, or it was
No,
screaming?
it sounded like screaming. It could have been anything.
It could have been screaming.
It could have been broken washing machine.
Yeah, but it could have been screaming though.
I thought it was nothing. He said it was nothing. He's a good guy, so I let it go. The only other person in the house was Irene. I saw her the next day. She was fine.
So, if it was screaming, and it wasn't anyone living inside the house, it must have been someone who doesn't live inside the house.
I'm not saying, but I thought it was screaming.
Who might have been screaming on the night of the 14th?
Look, I really think that my lawyer should be here.
Who might have been screaming, Ivan?
I didn't see anyone come or go. I don't know who it was, or if it even was anyone.
We're pretending it was.
Okay, it was. I don't know who it was, because I didn't see anyone come or go.
Did you talk to Bradley that day?
No, I don't think so.
No, or you don't think so?
I don't know. He's my neighbour and a good friend. I talk to him all the time. I can't be expected to know which days I speak to and which days I don't.
So you might have spoken to him.
Yeah, I might have.
You did speak to Bradley that day, Ivan?
Did I?
Yes, for about 5 minutes or so outside the front of your house, about 8 p.m. It was dark.
And, how do you know that?
Your wife told us.
My wife.
Yes, your wife.
You talked to Hannah.
We have her in custody now.
You spoken to her today.
That's right.
And, what did she say?
What does it matter? You don't look well, Ivan.
I'm fine.
Don't look it.
Is Hannah alright?
She's in police custody. She couldn't be safer. What did you and Bradley talk about, Ivan?
I don't remember.
Try.
I talk to him all the time.
What do you talk about?
I talk to him every day.
I suppose you ask how his day's been, what he's been up to.
Something like that.
So, how had his day been on the 14th? What had he been up to?
I don't remember.
Try.
Hannah got home late from work that day.
Do you remember that day?
I remember because she didn't hear it. I remember thinking, oh, Hannah would know what that is. That sounds like screaming, but she was late home from work, and that's how I know where she was.
What does it matter?
It matters because if there was anything, if Bradley did do anything, then she wasn't there when it happened. So you can let her go?
What might Bradley have done, Ivan?
I don't know. Whatever he's
We're
done.
not assuming he's done anything.
Of course not. You're police officers conducting the investigation. But if there was anything, if you did find anything, then she wasn't at home.
You You were home though, weren't you?
Yes, and I heard it. I didn't see anything.
You spoke to him?
Yes.
After you heard the screaming, you spoke to him. It must have been after the screaming because your wife saw you. She wasn't home when you heard the screaming.
Sorry, yes, I spoke to him after the screaming.
How did he seem?
I don't know.
Your wife said he seemed agitated.
I don't know if Bradley's done anything.
Did he seem agitated to you?
He often is.
Well, if he often is, he must have been very agitated for your wife to bother mentioning it.
I suppose so.
Sounds like the kind of thing you might remember.
Yeah, well, I don't, do I? So he could have been that agitated now, can he?
You seem agitated now.
That's because I'm being kept here against my will. Being asked question after question just to work out that I don't know anything.
Your wife said you looked shaken that time. You look shaken now.
I want my wife.
I want to know what happened on the 14th.
I don't know what happened in Bradley's house because I wasn't there.
Your wife said you went for a drive. Where'd you go?
Sometimes I drive in the evenings. I do as often, just to the edge of town and back.
Your wife said you didn't get back until very late. Early hours of the morning, she said.
Hannah said that.
Yes, she did.
Hannah said I didn't get home till late.
That's right.
Hannah didn't know what time I got home.
She didn't know exactly.
No, she didn't know at all. She left at her parents that evening.
Why did she go to her parents?
I didn't get home until the early hours of the morning. I took a long drive. I do that sometimes, not often, but sometimes. But Hannah didn't know that because she wasn't there when I got home.
Did you tell Hannah to go to her parents?
What colour hairs have I got?
Ivan, you have found yourself in a lot of trouble.
What's her accent like?
Ivan, you and I are both well aware of your wife's details.
I'd like to speak to her.
You can't.
I get a phone call. You're telling me, right, that if I would call Hannah's phone right now, she wouldn't answer it, right? Because you took her phone off her like you did me?
You can have your phone call when we're done speaking.
I want it now.
You can't.
I want to speak to my wife.
Sit down.
Nothing. I want my lawyer. I want to see my wife.
Sit down.
You are a liar!
Sit down.
I want to go home.
You can go home when I say.
I want my lawyer!
You don't get a fucking lawyer! This interview will resume shortly.
How do you feel this interview is going?
I've done a number of interrogations before. This one
We
is
don't call them interrogations here. These are interviews.
Sorry, Mum.
Sir.
Sorry.
You will call me sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
We don't call them interrogations here, officer. Do you know why?
No, sir.
Come in. Sit down. Relax. What's your name?
Officer Bell, sir.
We don't call them interrogations here, Officer Bell, because interrogations are nasty things with nasty connotations. They make people think of prisoners with their hands tied down to their table, having their teeth pulled out in grotty rooms with bloodstained walls and broken lights. They make people think of broken glass and blunt force trauma. These are not the things we want people to think about here. That's not what we do here, Officer Bell.
No, sir.
It's harder to get a confession out of a man with a mouthful of blood.
I'm sure, sir.
So, how do you feel this interview is going?
It's going very well. He's beginning to panic.
Is he?
He was.
Before...
Sir?
He was beginning to panic before...
Before he started asking about his wife.
Before you told him something that we didn't want him to know.
He doesn't know anything.
He knows that we don't have his wife. And since you also told him that it was his wife that told us that he went for a drive, he doubtless knows that we've been watching him too. If he knows that we've been watching him, he won't lie about his movements. If he doesn't lie about his movements, we can't tell which movements are incriminating and which aren't.
Doesn't matter. I'll still get it.
It doesn't matter.
No, sir.
If I held a gun to your head, would you be afraid?
I expect so, sir.
You expect so?
Well, I don't think a superintendent would shoot one of their subordinates unprovoked, but yes, I suppose if the gun was in my face, then I would be afraid.
Are you afraid, Officer Bell?
Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that I would shoot you?
No, sir.
I might, Officer Bell. I've shot more valuable men than you before. This gun has no bullets. You're still afraid?
Yes, sir.
Here. Take it. Little weight in it.
No bullets.
Are you still afraid?
No, sir.
No, you're not. Do you think Ivan is still afraid of you?
No, sir.
No. You haven't got any bullets, Belle. Why would he be afraid of a gun without any bullets? You weren't.
He would be, sir.
Oh, you're right. So, what are we going to do now that we don't have any bullets?
Find a new way to make him afraid, sir.
Very good. Now we're going to go back in there, and you're going to get that man to say what we need him to say. Are you ready, Officer Bell?
Yes, sir.
After you.
I want a phone call.
Sure you do. Ivan, there's still plenty of things we need to discuss.
Oh, I know. I still have no idea why I'm being kept. Tim, is it Bradley you should be interviewing? I want a phone call. And I want my lawyer. I'm not asking any more
On
questions.
the night of the 17th, the body of Joanna Thompson was discovered buried in the woods on the outside of town. You might have seen this on the news.
I have.
What can you tell us about Joanna Thompson? Ivan, there are several ways we can conduct this interview.
She went to South Road High School, which means she must live quite close to me. My kids are in the catchment area.
This, presumably, you learned on the news.
I did.
Do you think I don't watch the news, Ivan?
I don't know if you watch the news or not.
I do.
Then what are you asking me for?
Superintendent, what time is it?
Time's almost up, Officer Bell.
I want my lawyer.
Do you think we brought in all the parents whose children are in the catchment area for Joanna's school?
That wouldn't be a very efficient use of time now, would it?
No, it wouldn't. So why do you think we brought you in? You specifically?
Presumably because you think that I know something about the case that the others don't.
And what might lead us to believe that?
Because I heard Bradley's washing machine malfunctioning the night the girl disappeared. Or perhaps I run a red light the day after trying to
Ivan, this is Superintendent Rogers. She's a very busy woman. Her time is precious. Wasting it would be a bad idea. Now, I brought her here because I believe you to be a valuable use of her time. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't intend to be in trouble, Ivan. You, however, found yourself in a lot of trouble. Bradley is in trouble too. Now, what I'm here to do is help you redistribute the trouble. Tell us what you know about Bradley the night of the 14th, and you won't be in trouble anymore. And I won't be in trouble with the superintendent, and nobody's time will have been wasted, and you and I can go home, and Bradley will find himself in much, much more trouble. Are we on the same page?
I've told you. I don't know anything.
Why did you go for a drive?
I often drive.
Where'd you go?
I told you, the edge of town and back.
Which edge? Did you go down the high road or down the old street?
I don't remember. Look, it doesn't matter.
It matters.
Why?
Did you go towards the forest or away from it?
Look, I want my phone call.
I am not a patient man, Ivan. Superintendent Rogers is not a patient woman.
Anywhere near the forest.
Oh, so you do remember that?
I don't have anything to do with this girl!
Why are you protecting this man, Ivan? Does he threaten to hurt you or your wife? Look, if we have him, he can't do anything. If we don't, he can do whatever he likes. Help me to help you, Ivan.
Officer Bell, it's time to wrap this up.
What you doing?
Ivan, I'm not going to waste any more of Superintendent Rogers' time.
So, you letting me go?
No.
I told you!
Ivan, we have enough evidence to have you convicted of murder.
I didn't kill anyone.
We know.
What?
We know you haven't killed anyone. I'm not saying that you killed anyone. I'm saying we have enough evidence for the court to convict you.
Don't think we do. Why, man?
Because I don't care who killed the girl, Ivan. I just want someone to go to jail, and I want to be the one who put them there.
This isn't justice!
No. It's business. I'm in the conviction business, Ivan. Now, I've got enough evidence to have you sent down.
There isn't any evidence.
There's enough.
Well, I didn't kill her.
With the murder of a child alone, we could get a fairly severe sentence. But with the added brutality and violent sexual assault, it could be a very long time before you're free.
I'm not a murderer!
What I'm doing is offering you a choice. Either the guilty man goes to jail, or the innocent one does. I don't really care who goes to jail. I don't care if the guilty man is walking around while you're rotting in a cell. I don't care if the murderer lives next door to your wife. I don't care if his daughter goes to the same school as yours. And sometimes he comes and picks her up and takes her home because you're not there to do it for her. I don't care if sometimes she goes around to his house for a barbecue and you're not there to keep an eye on her when the sun goes down. I don't care if he kills again. I don't care. But you do, don't you?
You can't do this.
I'm not doing anything. I'm leaving it entirely up to you. Either the innocent man goes to jail, or the guilty one does. Either way, I'm in line for a promotion. Isn't that right, Superintendent?
A high-profile case like this is sure to boost you a peg or two up the ladder, Officer Bell.
Ivan, why do you think we've brought you here?
Why do I think you brought me here?
That's what I asked. Why do you think we've brought you here?
Because I'm withholding information regarding the murder of Joanna Thomas.
Did you commit the murder? Who did?
Bradley Cohen.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that is our show. Just a couple of thank yous. First of all to our artistic directors, John, who's at the back doing our tech, and Rachel, who's doing our stage management. And to all our directors and our writers making it happen as well. One more piece of business to attend to.